Welcome to the May 6th, 2024 Grafton Board of Health meeting. As a preliminary matter, this is Karen Gwiazdowski-Govin, Chair of the Board of Health. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Dan Finn.
Dan Finn, present.
Austin Magnan.
Austin Magnan, present.
Bill Muller.
Bill Muller here.
All right, thank you all. All right, and then staff and any anticipated speakers on the agenda, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Nancy Connors. I don't think her sound's working yet. That's what she gets for being in the office, still trying to do it. She warned me, she's like, I'm gonna be in the office. Oh, okay, good luck. Oh, hold on. She might be trying to call in. Let me see. Call in user 1. Is that you, Nancy?
Is that you, Karen?
Yes, it is. All righty, good. We are all connected. Yay, technology. All right. Well, we know Nancy's here. All right. Let's see. We have Devon Thornton.
Hello, everyone. I'm here.
Hello. Ian Wong.
Here.
And then Sarah Harris.
I'm here and I apologize. I think my computer is going to reboot, but I will be back if it does.
Not a problem. I know how that is. My work one has the tendency to do it when I'm going into a meeting. And it's always one of those forced reboots that you can't pause or push off.
Exactly what it is. So I apologize.
Not a problem.
I'll do it now, right in the beginning.
There you go. Well, I'm still going through all my fun here. I'd like to open the meeting. Can I get a motion from a board member to open the meeting?
Yeah, this is Dan Finn. I'd like to make a motion to open this meeting.
Is there a second from a board member?
This is Austin Magnan. I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor, roll call vote, board members?
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Austin Magnan, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski-Govin, aye. All right, good evening once again. This open meeting of the Grafton Board of Health is being conducted remotely, consistent with the Act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency back in the day. This act includes an extension now until March 31st, 2025 of the remote meeting provisions of former Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 executive order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the act extends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted to the town's website at www.grafton-mass.gov, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. There are no public hearings scheduled for this evening's meeting. For this meeting, the Grafton Board of Health is convening by video conference via Zoom as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note the meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and that you take care not to screen share your computer because, as we all know by now, anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Any supporting materials that have been provided to the members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Before we turn to the first item on agenda, just to cover a few brief ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I'll introduce any speakers for any of the topics on the agenda, and then after the speakers are done with any remarks or comments, I'll invite the board members to provide any questions, comments, or motions. As always, please identify yourself by name when speaking. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking so we don't get any background noise. And then please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. For any responses, please wait till I yield the floor to you and then state your name before speaking. And then finally, any votes on any motions made during this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. All right, welcome back, Sarah. That wasn't too bad for a reboot. So let's get going on our first topic, which is the Alliance update. So I don't know which Alliance member wants to go first.
Madam Chair, we'll have Sarah go first.
I'll be short and sweet. And yes, it did go quickly. I was very grateful for that. Honestly, it's a very quick update. There's not much to report. The numbers have dropped significantly with flu and COVID. You know, with the change of season, it makes complete sense. Knock on wood, there haven't been any reported tick-borne illnesses as of yet. But still, you know, put those collars back on your dogs and be careful if you're out hiking and cover up when you're supposed to. We're still definitely advocating and advertising that. And honestly, that is it for me. Any questions? Told you, short and sweet. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, I can add a piece too. I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I'm not sure if we're talking separately about the opioids.
Yes.
Or that it's separate, okay. Let me just give you an update and replacing Karina. We're getting down to final candidates. The Assistant Commissioner and Director Solo are doing those final interviews. I don't know who's the final candidate and who the candidate is yet, but I have a feeling it'll be coming up soon. And so I'll keep you posted. And, you know, have you get introduced. And we've gone through first rounds. We're now in the second round. So I know they did it last Friday. So a decision should be coming soon. We'll update you.
All right. Well, thank you for the update. Looking forward to meeting the individual who gets selected and joins the Alliance.
Yeah, I just gotta remember not to stop saying, oh, I'd like you to meet the new Karina. I like to meet, you know, it's like, it's their position, it's gonna be theirs and, you know, so I'll work on that one. And I think, is
Karen?
Devon gonna be part, or I wasn't sure if Devon does this separately or.
I'm ready.
All right. Oh,
Okay.
Nancy.
Yeah, I was gonna let Devon do his part, and I was going to take care of the Title V. If you want me to do that?
Yeah, let Devon go first.
Okay.
Okay, so from as far as I'll start with complaints we've had since the last meeting. 3 complaints. They were all nuisance complaints. For all 3, we sent out non-compliance letters to have those issues addressed. Since March 2nd to May 3rd, we've the Alliance has done 25 food inspections and 1 body art inspection. That's all I have to report, other than we're just gearing up and preparing for the spring summer season. So we'll be doing a lot more mobile food truck inspections for any of the upcoming events. We're also in the talks and working with Holden Farms to assist them to get things up and going. They're still in the process. And other than that, that's all I have to report.
Dan, I saw you jump off mute.
Yeah. Hi, Devon, this is Dan.
Hi, Dan.
I have 2 questions for you, but first I just want to mention, I think that we should get you a new pair of running shoes. Seems to me that you covered a lot of territory here in the past couple of months. So one question, I think I know the answer, but Lakeview Pizza as an inspection has a 2 in parentheses. They don't have 2 locations. Was that 2 inspections?
That was actually a re-inspection. So I inspected, there were a couple of things that I needed them to address. So I went back and re-inspected like 10 days later.
Okay.
Yes.
And then secondly, on the chart from 327, there was a complaint at Old Westboro Road. And on the chart, it doesn't show that it was addressed or that there was a resolution to it. Do you recall that one?
Oh, Westboro Road.
That was 119. It says construction vehicles.
Oh, yes, that is the issue that is something that was I think kind of had a multi-department
Issues.
issues, like different departments played different parts in the issues. And I think one of the biggest issues had to do with buildings. It had to do with the dog. And it was an issue that happened years ago with a neighbor killing this neighbor's dog.
Oh, geez.
And I think what has happened is the dog that actually, so 119 Old Westboro Road, this would be the owner of the dog that killed the neighbor's dog. Their dog passed away. They got another dog, which kind of resembled the dog that passed away. And I think the neighbors were concerned with the fact that the dog was roaming freely. But the property's gated off. They feel that the gate wasn't tall enough. Buildings went in and inspected the gate that said the gate was fine. They also called animal control. Animal control determined that the gate was fine as well. It wasn't the perfect gate, but it was at the right height to not worry about the dog jumping over. And I think what we were left with was an issue between two neighbors, the remnants of the issue that happened with the dog that was killed. And I think it's just been an ongoing issue. So we just, the Alliance, well, the Board of Health, what we did was we tried to contact all departments that could help, because there wasn't a lot we could do, because a lot of things fell under buildings and animal control.
Yeah.
But it had been an ongoing issue.
Okay. Yeah.
Since this date, the owner was very upset on this day, actually. She hasn't come back to the office. Her husband, I think, worked for the town. He's an engineer. I forgot his name, but I actually met him at a soil test and inspection a couple of weeks ago. We didn't discuss this issue, but nothing was brought up. His wife never came back to the office to complain. I think buildings reached out, and also animal control. So I think we're just notating that it was a complaint, but there was not much that we could do on our side. She wanted us to do something, but it was kind of out of our hands.
Right. It's a tricky situation.
Yeah, she was very upset though.
Yeah, not something that really, nothing that we, being the Board of Health or Health Department, really oversees.
And it's kind of something we kind of we try to stay out of, especially when it's two neighbors having a dispute, with hopes that we could find a remedy.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. I hope I explained it the best I could, Nancy.
Dewan, you're going to Holden Farms tomorrow, correct?
Yes.
Okay. On the Title V inspections, these are the Title V reports that we get, either pass, fail, conditional pass, and all these were, all the ones that are listed here are pass. Soil testing, Phil has been doing that, and Devon has been also going out for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 addresses. Devon and Phil are going out and doing soil testing. And we had 2 septic inspections, bottom on 4 Hudson and bottom on 68 Follett. And Devon's been going with Phil on those also. And that's it.
anything else from the Alliance or questions from board members to the Alliance? Before we. All right, I'll take that as a no. We'll just touch briefly on COVID, since Sarah already gave us the good news that, as expected, given the time of year that we're in, that COVID cases are thankfully going down at this point in time, along with flu and other respiratory illnesses. But that being said, we all know that it's not gone. I think I saw an article that there's a couple new variants out there that they're talking about, but the article said the same thing, that the cases are definitely coming down. They just happen to pick up the fact that it looks like there's a couple new variants that have developed, that they're keeping an eye on. So same resources if folks want to get, or are due for a vaccine or a booster or anything like that. Same resources that have been out there from the CDC and the state in terms of where you can go. Obviously, you get your local CVS, your Walgreens, et cetera, as the places where you can get flu vaccines, RSV vaccines. While we're on vaccines, I'll, promote the RSV vaccine. And then also the COVID vaccine. And then next is opioid settlement funds. So I don't know, Ian, if you wanna.
Yeah, man, sure, yeah, I'll jump in on the other two board members who are part of the committee speak. We had a meeting, it's always the last Tuesday of the month, so whatever, I guess that was last week. I have to tell you that, Grafton's very far ahead of the other Alliance towns and everything else. And so one thing we're talking about, because, with the chief of police, got a lot of things going on. And so one thing we're talking about is how do we enhance what you're doing, the parts that are missing. I know we talked about before with grandparents and what they're doing. I think we have a lot of things in town going on with young people and really looking at how do we transition that to some to the young adults, in the community. And we know too, a lot of times people don't get the treatment for opioids until they're in their 40s. So, how can we reach that population earlier? And the other thing too, as we talked about the other day, the chief does a great job at keeping track of the overdoses, right, in town. We know that. But the one thing we talked about, it's almost like, and I don't know if this is a good analogy or how the numbers match up, but when you get someone for drunk driving, a lot of times for driving, they've driven like 20 times before that, so forth. So thinking about, for everybody we see overdose, how many people are out there who we don't see from overdosing, that haven't had that, reached that, that big of an issue and are still currently using. So even though we're, the town's interacting very well with those who are using, trying to do follow-ups and all that, it's trying to figure out, okay, how do we get to those who haven't come to our attention because of because of an opioid overdose? So we're looking at that. And again, we were talking the other day too, I have my notes about who we should partner with. Again, the faith-based community, the commerce, the people out there. I have to look at my list and all that. So we can take a little moments if you can think of anyone else is out there. The two big things working on too is, trying to get the approval for the opioid prevention specialist who's going to help coordinate all these efforts. It's kind of tied up in HR a little bit right now, but I'll have that done and update the job description and share it with everyone. The other thing too is making sure with the transfer of funds, working with all the towns. I know one town decided to wait for town meeting and for the select board, so they're kind of held up. I think you guys are okay. I think we're moving forward there to put those funds together and put them out there. So I think those are the big issues that we have. So let me ask Dr. Mueller and Board Member Finn.
Thank you, Ian. There is quite a extensive document that you and your staff had worked on in terms of the goals of the program and so forth. I think there still needs to be some refinement of exactly where we want to focus our activities. Certainly conceptually, we want, I think, to buttress things that are already being done and are already apparently effective, and then augment it with something which we hope will provide additional support. Conceptually, we're going to share our effort with the other alliance towns. Of course, the towns are of different size and have different amount of money to spend. But I do think that in fact, we've made some progress. We did have a representative there at the last meeting who was a grandparent raising a grandson because the parents of this grandson had opioid abuse disorder. And I think she did share with us how difficult she found it. She certainly found it to be difficult to deal with medical people. And I'm not sure I did anything to make her more comfortable with that in our conversation. But I do think it's a difficult sort of situation, in the sense that there are some resources there. We do have an opportunity to improve what's available, and we just want to do so judiciously. But hopefully we'll continue to march on. The last Tuesday of the month, I'm going to be in France, so I'll be thinking about you a little bit. Maybe I'll be in Bordeaux at that point, so I'll raise a glass. But I do appreciate the work that's gone on that Ian has overseen, and I think it helps. I think articulate some of the things we really need to think about, and also, assist us in formulating what our plans should be.
And
Yeah, first of all, I apologize if I missed last week's meeting. I remember getting an invite and then I thought a cancellation, but in any event. But I'm wondering if last week, Mary Lauria did ask William to try to put a few things on the town Facebook resources that I think the Alliance had come up with for people that need help. And Nancy, do you know if he was able to do that? I haven't seen it.
As far as I know, no.
Okay. We might want to reach out to him again and see, because they look like pretty good list of phone numbers and contacts for people that are in need for counseling and for help.
Yeah, if I could follow up on that, yeah, thanks for reminding me, because the thought was if we make, the towns or the Board of Health, that key spot where someone can go, and then that can connect with all the other resources. So if someone's thinking, I don't know what to do, here's the one spot you can go to, and
Right.
then we can add all the resources that's needed.
all right, sounds like some good progress. Thank you, everyone that's been involved in that. We all really appreciate it. Look forward to even more progress coming along. There's nothing else on opioid settlement funds. Then we will jump down to the last discussion topic on the agenda, which is to vote to extend the Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine at Tufts University permit to operate a biomedical research facility to the date of July 30th of 2024. For the board members, the current expiration date of the permit is June 30th, 2024. But as you may recall, it took some time to get Colleen Driscoll's contract and all the information aligned on. Had to go through us, then it had to go to the select board. And then she obviously has to then work with Tufts to get scheduling and actually in there to do the inspection, finish the inspection report, et cetera, et cetera. So given the fact that we're already in the beginning of May and it'll be June 30th before we know it, because time is flying, we figured it'd be better to, this is not the first time we've done this. We've had a situation a while back where a similar type of thing where kind of the ramp up to do it. And then it was like, oh, let's, but that deadline's coming quick. We figured it'd be better to do an extension sooner than later rather than scrambling last minute, either, at the beginning of the July meeting or say, okay, everything looks good. And then all of a sudden, the June meeting, and then all of a sudden, we're scrambling and it's last minute in late June. And we have to call a board meeting specifically just to talk about the permit and make an extension because schedules didn't align or something, or someone gets sick or whatever the case may be. So we figured let's just talk about it now. And so like anything, it's, a motion, a second, then a roll call vote if there's any discussion before the roll call vote. Dan?
Karen, I just have a couple of quick questions. So we're voting to extend it to July 30th, 2024, or for the following year, just to
Yeah.
until then.
Yeah, just a month.
And then are we actually voting, or are we recommending to the board of select or the select board to vote?
No, this isn't a contract or anything. We are the ones who have to review and sign
No.
permit.
Okay. That being answered, and I'd like to make a motion. This is Dan, to extend the Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine at Tufts University's permit to operate a biomedical research facility through July 30th, 2024.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All right, roll call vote, board members?
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski Govin, aye. Then hopefully everything lines up and that we don't have to worry about it, but at least now there's some time, so Colleen and Tufts don't have to scramble in case schedules, 'cause it's not Colleen's only responsibility. And I'm sure Tufts isn't just sitting around with nothing else to do in terms of scheduling, so. All right, thank you, board members. All right, so we have minutes. Looks like there's 3 sets since the set from last meeting I didn't see come through, unless I missed something.
That's correct. No
Okay.
April 10.
All right. All right, so that means the first set of minutes is March 4th of 2024. Dan?
This is Dan Finn. I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the Board of Grafton Board of Health from March 4th, 2024 as presented.
This
This
is
is
Bill
all-
Muller. I
oh.
second that.
All right, roll call vote.
Dan Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski Govin, aye. All right, we will table April 10th, 2024, since we didn't have them done in time. Then the next set is June 3rd of 2019.
I don't happen to have those in front of me. I don't know if either of you other guys can make a motion.
I wasn't on the board at that point.
Oh, yeah.
so-
I think they were in the
Yeah,
draft.
I see it.
They were in the draft, so are the next ones in the draft agenda
Yep.
email that Nancy had sent.
Yep, I see it now. This is Dan. I'd like to make a motion to accept the Grafton Board of Health minutes from June 3rd, 2019 as presented.
I had to double check I was there, but this is Austin Magnet and I will second that motion.
All right, roll
I
call vote.
abstain.
Dan Finn, aye.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski Govin, aye. All right, and
Bill Muller
then,
abstained. Yes.
All right, and then December 30th of 2019.
Yep, this is Dan Finn. I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes of the Grafton Board of Health minutes of December 30th, 2019 as presented.
This is Austin Magnet. I will second that.
Roll call vote.
Dan Finn, aye.
Austin Magnet, aye.
Karen Gwiazdowski, Govin, aye.
Bill Muller abstain.
All right, that was it for minutes. We're almost done with the minutes. Thank you again, Nancy, for digging through all of those and watching all the videos and going through the handwritten notes that you have from some of the older ones. Ugh. Just another thing with COVID to put past us, getting all the minutes caught up from COVID times and shortly after COVID started and before COVID started. All right, mail correspondence. I didn't see anything come through unless something came through very recently before the meeting.
No, I have emailed you a couple things that came in today, but nothing pressing.
All right, then just old new business. We already touched on, Sarah touched on the tick season. Everyone to take precautions. It'll also be mosquito season soon enough, if it hasn't already started to show up in some areas. So fingers crossed we have an okay year from a Tripoli West Nile perspective. And then I already mentioned the RSV vaccines when we were talking COVID. That was the other topic. I just wanted to put a plug out there for the RSV vaccines for eligible populations. That was all I had on old and new business because we talked about the rabies clinic last meeting. So that leaves our upcoming meetings. We have all of these, instead of me saying remote every time afterwards, all of these are currently scheduled to be remote meetings for the rest of the year, just based on room availability. We have June 3rd, July 1st, August 5th, September 9th, October 7th, November 4th, and December 2nd. All right, so if there's nothing else on our agenda at least. Just need a motion to adjourn. Dan?
This is Dan Finn. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
This is Bill Muller. I'll second that motion.
Roll call vote.
Finn, aye.
Bill Muller, aye.
Austin Magnet, aye.
All right, Karen Gwiazdowski, Govin, aye. All right. Thank you, everyone.